Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Who's seen Rostro is.
I like it. I want to hear more of it. Feels like I'm on a pop lot.
What? There you go, Madison.
Oh, that's hot. Go O-Town. Go O-Town. Okay, that's not what we're talking about.
All right. Hello, AfterBuzzers!
No, we're so excited that Jane the Virgin is back. Chapter 10. I'm so super excited. This is AfterBuzzz TV, and I'm one of your hosts, Madison Chase, trainer to the stars and the star in you. And you have to excuse my voice. I don't know what happened over the holidays.
It's okay. It sounds sexy, girl.
I know, it's sexy, raspy, right? But I'm your trainer to the stars and the star in you. I'm also your voice of virginity, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show. And my great, fabulous co-host, beautiful.
Oh, girl.
Talkative.
I know, right? What's up, everybody? It's Stephanie Giorgi.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm digging O-Town. That was a Steffi G selection.
Yeah, it's they have a new album called Lines and Circles. That's what the song was called. So check it out, y'all. The O-Town's new album. It's nice.
And you know who I love?
Which one?
Sam Smith is going to be in
Oh, I know.
concert.
That's your, right? I know you all about Sam Smith.
I'm all about it. I just call him like, I need to get backstage passes. So if you're out there, Sam, I'm coming to see you. I'm so excited. Okay, so let's jump into chapter 10.
Chapter 10. And we left off in such a scary part, too.
Oh my
with
gosh.
Alba falling down the stairs.
And I knew Petra's mother pushed her. I knew she did. I was like, she is an evil witch.
I know, and I knew she could walk.
We said that. I think
always said that. I know
the
it.
very first episode. So I love that we're like predicting stuff and it's like coming true.
I know.
Yeah, and that totally came true. So we kind of get a flashback to what happened over the whole season 1, and then we end this. Well, it starts. Chapter 10 starts with, of course, the flashback of Jane when she's a young girl and she's showing her mom her report cards or her test scores. 98. Yeah.
But it was because I did the British spelling of theatrical, whatever she said.
Whatever
so I'll argue it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm like, that little girl is so smart. Like, whatever word she said, I couldn't even understand what she said.
I know, I love it.
I'm like, what did she say?
And I love that she knew, like, as she had to have been in elementary school then, that she could argue her grade.
Yeah, she was like, I'm going to
So I'll have
argue.
to talk to the teacher about it tomorrow.
Yes, I love that. So her mom puts down her dinner, and it's like really bad macaroni and cheese.
Watery
like,
macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, it's like really watery cheese with a little bit of noodles, and then her mom discovers it's called the Heritage Day, and she has to make a dish, and so her mom is like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And Jane's kind of like, "I forgot."
I know, right? It's too funny.
Yeah, and so she really wants her grandmother to make the food, and so.
Which is good. I mean, all grandmothers really do cook the best. So
unless you have a mom like mine, because she makes the
right.
best
Actually,
food.
you know what? That's true because my mom kills it in the kitchen.
Yeah, but my grandmother used to make these really good hot water pancakes. They were so good.
My mom actually makes amazing empanadas, which is what we saw on the show. The empanadas are amazing.
Okay, we have to get your grandmother to make some empanadas.
My mother.
Your mother makes them too. Okay, yeah, we have to get that. Okay, so she asked her grandmother how to pray, because there's always a flashback scene, which kind of foretells what's going to happen later on. So
with the rosary and everything, I love that.
Rosary. And I love, like, this may have been like the first like national show where we see someone actually praying with the rosary,
right?
Like,
I know, and I'm happy that they didn't make it a huge thing because I think it's very important. And the same thing happened to me recently, like, or when I moved to Los Angeles, which you know, I'm Catholic also, and I remember asking my mom because I was gonna, you know, be in this city by myself and live by myself, and I started, you know, falling more into my faith again, and where I hadn't been for a little bit. And I asked her, I was like, Mom, like, will you teach me how to pray with the rose? Like, yeah. And so, and it's nice, it's comforting, and I think it's exactly how it was for Jane in the show, where you grew up watching someone do this all the time. So she always watched her grandmother pray for everything, and it's just something that it's a comfort and faith, and helps you believe like in what you want, and helps you get it because you're that much more, you know, faithful towards it. So.
So she shows her how to pray, and her prayers are answered because the empanadas are
Turned out great.
Yeah, but what she didn't see, her mom is always doing this stuff behind the scenes because she ultimately has Jane's best interest at heart, and she didn't want her to be embarrassed. So she asked Abuela to show her how to make empanadas, and she was like, "Nope, I'm not going to do it for you. I'm going to show you.
Teach you.
I'm going to teach you how to do it." And I thought that was so cute because we get like a history lesson into like their family and what really happens. And I think it's great that it's showing like authentic cultural things.
And it's sad because they start thinking about all these memories because Alba is, I didn't think she was gonna be that hurt. Did you think she was gonna be that hurt?
You know what? I did.
Because it was a head trauma, or she could have broken her hip, I know.
Yeah, there's so many things that could have happened, especially because she's older, falling down the stairs and somebody pushing you. It's different when you fall.
Because that's a different type of momentum going down.
Exactly, when someone pushes you, like, you know, violently.
And they had an innovator and everything, so that was nuts. That was sad.
So I didn't think it would be that bad, but I anticipated for drama's sake that
of course
it could potentially be
that she was going to be in a coma.
Yeah, that she was going to be in a coma. Yeah, so it opens up and we see Abuela in the hospital, and we see Jane realizing, going back to the prayer of the flashback from the opening scene, where she's like, "Oh my God,
I need to get the rosary. And
I need to get the rosary, and I need to pray for Abuela." And so she realizes that the rosary was in her grandmother's purse, and then she looks and she's like, I gotta go get it. Yeah. And
there's a storm, mind you, while all of this is happening. So Jane's mom doesn't want her to go, or she has to be careful, and then she ends up going anyways, right?
She goes, yes.
She goes. I guess the storm wasn't too bad at that point.
At that moment,
yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. So she goes and she gets the rosary
from Regina, one of the coworkers who found it while she was cleaning.
And I, you know what? There's always so much drama because I'm like, what? Okay, what? There shouldn't be much of an issue of her going, but the storm gets worse, progressively worse as the show continues. I'm trying to think what else happens. So Michael and Nadine, that's the next scene. So we see them making out, and that kind of ended on the last episode 9.
Right, because that's when they find like the secret passage in the bathroom hotel room. And
they discover
they were getting it.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how they always kind of throw little innuendos, like not that, you little pervs. He said something about pervs. I was like, uh-oh.
The narrator seriously is so good. He's like, what awesome comic relief for not seeing his face ever. Yeah, you know, and his voice is comforting because it goes perfectly with the with the theme of the story.
It totally does. I wonder if he'll ever be on the show. That would be nice.
I know, right? To see him.
And hopefully get him on the show, and I'm sure he could change his voice, so we would never know.
I'm sure he sounds like a good old regular guy.
I know. I wonder, because he probably puts a little bit of that extra on.
Of course.
Okay, so then we see Raphael and his dad. His dad is about to fly out, and he kind of tells us a story about why he's got to leave, and we kind of get to the root of what potentially could be going on. At the very end, we find out. And so Raph gets a chance to kind of run the hotel again.
Right, because where was Lachlan? He was somewhere else. He just wasn't there at the time. So then Raph has to step in and like helps.
Yeah, and I wonder where Lachlan is. Where is he?
I don't know. He was on a different island, or he said something. I forgot. I didn't catch it. My bad.
Okay.
But he was just like not in down there in Florida. He was on an island. I swear they said something like an island or somewhere, but like obviously with distance between them. So yeah, and then he puts him in an awkward position because he says that we have to start doing the cuts.
You got to fire 15% of the staff.
Right, and Raph is like, but it's whatever. I mean, you have to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you have to do. Which, in the conversation that him and Jane have later, I thought was really interesting. So he goes back to his office and he's about to really sit down and think about, okay, And when he's in his office, there's Petra with the divorce papers and
ready to go, all vulnerable because she got caught up.
Yeah.
And talking about her prenup.
Right.
Isn't that funny? And she's that's why she should have done it before. You know, when you do too much, you do too much. And then you're left without a prenup.
And he was like, well, you signed it as Petra,
right?
And that's not your name. So then she tried to tell him about some guy that was evil.
Well, no, she tells him the truth for like a moment. And then it's for the, what's the colloquialism? It's the boy who cried wolf.
Yes.
The same thing happens.
Yes.
You know, that's what happens when you continue to lie. And he even says it himself. Why don't we go over all the lies you've made in the last 6 months?
Sleeping with my best friend.
Right? Hiring a hooker to like frame me or whatever. Set him up. Yes, everything.
So I loved how they put all of that stuff up on the screen because you actually think that
it's like a visual, right? Yeah. You did do a lot.
She did lie. She lied about a whole lot of stuff. So then they rushed downstairs, and I was like, she is such a evil woman,
right?
I was like, Petra, I can't take you.
She's so good at it too, especially because she has such a doll face.
She does. She's so pretty.
Why would you ever think she was anything bad? I look at her and I'm like, oh, let's be best friends.
Right.
But I want to be best friends with everybody. So
you do want to be best friends with everybody. That's why people love you, Steffi G. Yeah.
I try, you know. Love, not war.
Peace, not love. Love, peace, and love. Petra and her mom and Ivan, they're in the storm too. And so I think something crashes through the window.
Right.
And
it flies through like a palm, yeah.
And there's some broken glass, and he's able to kind of cut himself free. And
then puts Petra's mom in the chair, which, I mean, I guess we'll get to that later because it happens later, but that's the end of that. I'm happy that they didn't focus on that part of the story.
They did.
Which is, I mean, we'll eventually get to it. I'm kind of more focused on the investigation that Michael's doing and then just seeing how Raph and Jane are going to go through all of this together, which I feel like they're doing a good job because Raph is surprising me with his honesty and how to handle Jane.
Yeah, I like that because do we want to talk about how...
when Jane gets stuck in the elevator with Michael?
No, I was going to go to... Okay, we could talk about that.
Go ahead.
No, go. Let's talk about them getting stuck in the elevator.
Right, which was perfect timing, perfect for Michael. If I was in Michael's position, I'd want to get stuck in an elevator also.
But he tried because at the beginning you see how he's like, he puts his hand in the elevator. You're like, who is that? And then you're like, oh, it's Michael.
And then they get stuck, of course, because you're in the elevator and there's a storm, right?
You're forced to talk about a lot of stuff. And so he realizes that Abuela's in the hospital. And
you see his genuine concern there.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, that's the difficult thing about Michael right now, which he's doing well, you know, again, kudos to the writers, because you see him obviously in this vulnerable state where all he's trying to do is attack Raph, which is, you know, getting in the way of his investigation because he's not... You know, thank goodness Nadine was the one who brought up the fact that Raph's dad might be it instead of Raph himself. When Michael just wants it to be Raph. Like, he wants to find any reason why Jane shouldn't be, to discredit him. And Raph knows that. He peeped it out. So he's been doing what he can to make sure he looks good. But, that's the thing. So it's nice to see Michael back at home, like, you know, back in his good spot again when he's trying to care for Jane and no one else is involved or around to intervene. And then, you know... He's nice. And he does that. He looks out for... Well, earlier in the hospital, we find out that when they're talking about how to pay for Alba's care, how she might get deported because she was illegal.
Yes.
And then he looks out.
Yeah. And I love, too, like, he seems to be a really good listener. And I think when you look at relationships...
Right, they bring that up twice.
They bring that up twice because he says, oh, yeah, you got the rosary from the Heritage Day. And she said, oh, you remembered that story. And I think most people don't realize, like, especially women, like, all we want to do is talk for the most part. And
so that's why her face is like...
You remember. Yeah. So I think, as dumb as the story could have been, but to her it was an important part of her history and her heritage. And
I think the moment that he brought it up, what it reminded me of is like, well, from the beginning, we know that Michael and Jane's relationship is not sexual whatsoever.
Yeah, it was a friendship.
It was a friendship. Yeah. And so that was a little nice reminder of all the talks that they might have had and the fact that that's a story from her childhood and it's a random one because that's to do with the Rosary and Heritage Day. Yeah. So you could tell she was like, I do miss you. Yeah. I do miss my friend because it's nice to bring something up and then have someone just know exactly what I'm talking about, rather than having to tell that entire story or explain to you what the significance of the rosary is.
Because that's something that her and Ralph can't really share yet.
Touch base on, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
because he doesn't know her. And longevity and knowing somebody and really knowing somebody as a friend without that sexual component makes a huge difference.
It does.
Yeah. So yeah, I love that they actually have that moment, and it does seem very, very genuine. It doesn't seem like he kind of puts Ralph aside, except for when they get off the elevator.
Of course, because Ralph is standing right there, which would happen. But no, but that was funny. What did you think about Jane being like on Michael like that? But Ralph even handled it fine. The first thing he said was, "Are you okay?"
Yeah. And I feel like they were both focused on her. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Which is ultimately...
Lucky girl.
I know. Ooh. You want two dudes fighting over you. Like, you totally see that they were both really genuinely concerned. Like, he trusts her.
And neither of them had the cookies yet.
And I think people don't realize that. Well, people, like, I know my ex, and...
When you act like a woman, you get treated like a woman.
Exactly. Like, he knows, like, if I say I'm seeing somebody else, like, he knows, oh, yep, she didn't sleep with me, so she's probably not going to sleep with him either. So I think that's why they could both be focused on her and not, does she just give him a blowjob in the elevator?
Or in, like, all these, like, stupid, silly things, right?
That you would think about that are sexual undertones when that has nothing to do with it, because they're genuinely...
involved with that person.
Yes. Yeah. Emotionally too, and knowing all of her stories and wanting to hear all of her stories because they're in love with her. So yeah, that's why I love this show.
I know, me too. And I'm such a hopeless romantic, so it's like, I need to stop.
Yeah, that's probably why we both want to do this show. I'm totally a hopeless romantic.
I know.
That's why this has nothing to do with the show. But if you haven't ever seen Meet Joe Black?
Oh yeah,
with Brad Pitt, the best love scene ever in the world.
So amazing. Yeah, I think we've capped on that show, on that movie. But I don't know if it was on this show or if it was on Virgin Territory, whatever shows that we do. But
I think it's like the most beautiful love scene. But we'll talk about another love scene that happens in here. I was like, oh wow, okay, yeah, you know what I'm talking about with Louisa and Rose. Yeah.
They have the steamiest love scenes out of all of them. I mean, they're the more experienced women, but. Yeah, I forgot that I forgot that whole situation happened where Rose lied, and that's why Louisa went to the mental institution.
Like, Rose is a nicer version of Petra.
Yeah.
She's a prettier version of Petra.
She's not trying to do nothing evil, but she is looking out for herself only.
Absolutely. So for her to do that, so we could talk about that, because Rose overhears her husband saying that he's gonna leave
with $5 million. He's taking $5 million out of his account, and then he's going to Croatia or Alegria.
Alegria, and I guess her intentions were not to.
Which Alegria is like means happiness. So I liked that they chose that for.
Oh, okay. Because I thought it was a name.
Right, it is, but I'm just saying, in general, Alegria means like.
It means happy.
Yeah, like alegre means happy, so it's like a. Anyways, continue.
Okay, I'm learning.
But yeah, so she overhears that, and then the first thing she thinks of is to
go see Louisa, not to go see Louisa, but to get some information.
Right, to get some information. And I guess she walked up a mountain in the rain to get that information.
To get that information, and to bring her powdered donuts
and to approach Louisa's weak ass, sexually. But
I do like that she had a little bit of strength. A little bit, but she got what she wanted.
That's what happened. Yeah. That's what we find out, that it wasn't her weakness. It was more that she saw the pin and was like, yep.
She was like, I'm getting out of here. So I like this Louisa. I think she's going to come back. And she's
getting it. I mean, she's had time to herself.
Yeah, she's had a lot of time.
Solitude helps.
Solitude will make you reflect. And then not only that, I love that they were like, she's got a good roommate, and she hasn't spoken in 12 years.
So I know. And that sex scene went down in front of Betty, and Betty's like
looking like, what is happening? I think she'll start talking after this.
Right? She might know a lot, so
she's like, oh yeah, ooh,
she knows a whole lot now.
She'll know a whole lot.
Yeah, she has 12 years of information.
Yeah, and she has all of Louisa's, because Louisa's only been talking to her.
I love when Rose walks in and Louisa like turns her head and goes, "That's Rose."
Like Betty's gonna say, "Oh yeah,
I know,
you're the half."
but it's just, you know, because the relationship is there, they're roommates, so she's like, I gotta tell my roommate about this real quick.
That's hysterical. Yeah, so I can't believe. So the love scene happens.
Mm-hmm. And then she does get her information.
She does get her information, and Louisa gets the pin.
Right.
So I'm sure probably.
And then the last thing that we hear of Louisa is that she asks Betty if she knows how to pick a lock. So I guess we're going to see Louisa leaving. Poor Ralph, his family is all messed up at this point because now he's getting information saying that his father's possibly seen Rostro or involved in criminal activity. Mm-hmm. And then, just that. Yeah,
and I love, too, that... Jane really apologizes to him because we didn't even talk about that yet, that she actually knows, or she hears rumors, because we said we are going to talk about this.
Yes.
She hears rumors that there are going to be some layoffs.
Right, which is true because we heard it in the beginning of the show with the 15% cut.
Mm-hmm. And so Jane goes to him before she gets trapped in the elevator and says, "Is it true?" and asked to see the list of people.
Right, because her friends pressured her on it because she's dating him now.
Yeah. And
this really bothers Madison and I, by the way.
Yeah, this bothers me because this is very typical of LA.
Right, or just people, like why... The fact that they were thinking of themselves first, or that someone was so quick to say, "You've changed."
You've changed.
Why?
Yeah.
Because my daddy's famous and rich, and now my baby daddy's famous and rich.
Now he's
or
rich.
Not famous, but rich.
Yeah. So
well off.
I think Frankie has been late a couple of times,
right?
And so she was like, "Well, I helped you out. I helped you." I don't know how she helped her, but
she just covered shifts when she was sick.
Okay.
But mind you, Gina in the beginning mentions when they're saying, "Well, I probably won't get fired," and she goes, "Yeah, maybe because I've been sick only 3 times in the last 4 years that I've worked here, and I, she's always on time. Like she has a
stellar record.
Right, she has a stellar record.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that bothers me. Like because your friend is in a different position, like intuitively she's a good person.
Yeah.
And if she could have helped you, she would have helped you.
And don't get all worried about it from the beginning because you knew that you weren't that good of an employee.
Yeah, and if you're not responsible, and people love to do that, like they love to turn it around on you.
She's like, thanks a lot.
Right.
Ugh, yeah. God, that bothered me so much.
I'm glad she's fired.
Right. Me too. After that, I'm like, get out of.
And then her other friend, the girl.
Well, because even Ralph says that he was like, no, she's been late like a couple of times and something else. So it's just, own to it. And I just wish that Gina, I know that she's a sweet girl. I just wish that Gina would have had Ralph like tell them, or maybe not get so involved and just actually explain like, look, if I'll let him know that if he needs to fire me, he will, but just don't forget, like, look how I'm standing to the company in comparison to you. And she's not trying to toot her own horn. It's just true. And they know that about her.
Yeah.
So it's just silly. And then when the whole Regina thing, I'm happy she didn't choose Frankie over Regina because she looked out. And ultimately, that's why you just can't get involved. And it wasn't her place, like Rob said.
And I love that she apologized at the end, like, I shouldn't have asked you to do it. And even when she was reading it, she was like, oh, no, I shouldn't keep reading up, but I'm reading. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love that she apologized because that's really how relationships go. Like, there are some times that you cross the lines, and sometimes you realize, oh, I went too far. Mm-hmm. I need to apologize. Yeah. And she totally did that. So I think
you know what I'm so impressed about between with Jane's and Ralph's dynamic is how there have been potential fights like a handful of times,
right? And
every time they've resolved it before anything else. Like literally, you could just see both of them think before they speak. Yeah, and they've just handled all of it.
Yeah, I love that. And we didn't talk about too when Abuela wakes up.
Right.
What happens, so.
With Xiomara when she starts to pray.
Oh, and we didn't even talk about this too.
When he gets there.
With the swag bag. I was like, that is so LA. And he is such a celebrity.
I love it. He's like, I got it from the after party.
And then he tries to wipe her face with the sunglasses. It was like, oh, there's so many
designer products.
Right. I was like, this is so LA, but I love it. I thought it was so hysterical. So, she's really happy to see him, and they embrace.
And it's nice to see Rogelio say that we're family, so no matter what.
Yeah, he's got her back.
He's feeling Xiomara.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that go down, because it's about to.
It is about to go down, but I feel like there's going to be a wedding with them.
Oh yeah, because she promises chastity. She's like, I promise I will not let another man in between my legs. Which of course, Abuela hears that. Alba's like, what? I'll wake up for that.
I love the shot with her eyes open, and she's like, "Oh, did you just say
right before
chastity?"
Yeah, exactly.
And then she touches her hand like,
okay, you remember what you said, so I'm awake, girl.
And then the shot where they're about to kiss when she wakes up, and then you see Abuela in between Rogelia, and she's like, "Oh nope, I can't kiss you."
Right, and then Abuela's face just smiles like, to fear God, right? To fear.
I love it, so I can't wait. I really think that that's going to blossom, and you'll really see their friendship, probably how it started, like from the beginning, like really be more focused on the friendship and getting to know each other.
Which is
differently as adults.
Exactly.
Because when you're teenagers, completely different.
Right, you've grown into, and like, of course, there'll be like some basics that, or internal things that don't change as far as your personality goes, but of course everything else, because you've gone through so much and you've experienced so much, and you've ultimately become a different person. But yeah, that is nice. I just like how simple so much of this is, and they're not, I mean, it's dramatic, but dramatic in the sense where they're making it that way, not where like crazy things are happening, except for, with the exception of the accidental insemination, but that's it. Everything else is realistic and just nice and simplified.
And you know what, even as dramatic as the artificial insemination is, they made it so believable, because at first when I saw the previews for the show, I'm like, there's no way that I would go in for a pap smear and I get artificially inseminated.
I know everyone's trying to crack jokes on it, but that's why I still have everyone asking me about it too. So then how does it happen? And then someone texted me today saying, she's like, oh, you and Jane the Virgin. I'm like, what? She's like, I'm on chapter 4. She's like, you only like it because you're Latina. And I'm like, well, that is a lot of the reason why I like it, yes. But you're still on chapter 4. So that means you're continuing to go. She's like, and I'm like, you could admit it. It's funny. Like, it's all right. Just because it's corny doesn't mean you're not allowed to like the show. If it's good, it's good.
And you know what? Okay, maybe I'm corny.
Yes, we are both corny. We are hopeless romantics. I'll tell you, Maddie. Yes, we are. But apparently we're not the only ones, because hey, get it, CW, for making it to the Golden Globes, them doing that, which I guess we'll talk about it. We'll talk about that in news and gossip in just a second. Sorry.
Oh yeah, because I tweeted a picture of Justin on the red carpet.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, so Justin, that's so exciting. Okay, so
as far as the episode goes, what else happens?
I think that's pretty much it. I was trying to make sure.
They wake up, and then again we have wonderful Jane and Roth like resolve their issue as far as her asking him everything criminally, and then Michael still has a hunch. So and then the plastic surgery.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that. Plastic surgery. You know what? When
I bet you it's not I don't think, because Michael said that it was for criminals. Maybe it's just for those who like to want plastic surgery under, people want to privately.
They want to do plastic surgery, lip injections privately. So I think you may have some criminals in there, but I think the majority of it, because this is like Miami.
Exactly. It's a place.
Beach. Yeah, people care about the way they
look like. Absolutely.
And they don't want people to know.
And what better place to do it than at a hotel where they have both facilities, because you're going to need to be taken care of. Yeah. And catered to. So
yeah, I totally think that's,
that sounds like an awesome business.
I know it does. I'm like, And I know there's some places like that in LA. So
yes, of course. It's an entire institution, right? But it's not. But this one is just private, so that people can sneakily do it.
Yeah. But that's interesting. Like, we're gonna go down this little walkway.
I know.
Yeah, that's something that's a little like.
Again, this is where the drama and the corniness comes. But it's still cool, man.
Yeah, it is cool. I'm like, can't you just have a separate entrance? But.
So now the only issue here is how, because Xiomara's been in a situation where her mother was hurt and almost deported. Who came and saved the day?
I know, Michael.
And he was quiet about it. This is where it falls again. The whole line, or trying to say that Michael's a bad person because he did something bad before, but it's like, no, he didn't. And without Jane knowing, wanted to help out Alba. You know, because at the end of the day, he still spent 2 years with the grandmother and the mother as well. So of course he's developed a relationship with them. But it's funny. And then now in Xiomara's eyes, after everything that she's gone through, Michael said what she wanted to hear. Like, I'm not gonna stop fighting for her. Right. And ultimately, I think that's what we all want to hear.
Of course, you want somebody who's gonna fight
for you. You know, no matter what.
That is my favorite line on Scandals when Kerry Washington told Fitz, she was like, "If you want me, you have to earn me."
Right. Shonda Rhimes, man.
That's Shonda Rhimes.
Killing it with all those.
Right. But that's my favorite line.
Yeah. No, of course. And it's true because at the end of the day, you know, and I always have to try to tell myself that if someone wants you, they will do everything they can to be with you. Instead of girls trying to make themselves available and vulnerable, just fall back. Let it happen. Let it happen the way that it used to. You know, let a man be a man.
And pursue you.
I mean, no offense to females who do like to go first and everything. Right.
I get it. There's some alpha females out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be one.
I used to be.
I can so see you being one.
Come over here. No, I'm playing.
Right now.
You know, I'm trying to turn that page in my life.
Me too. I'm turning that page for sure. But I think that's it.
Yep.
And we talked about Ivan escapes, and so the mom says, "Okay, so
now what? Because he gets out.
Now what? Because he is really gonna be mad because we kept him hostage for however long.
But he still needs the jewelry." And he ran out saying my jewels as far as his like private parts go. So
I didn't get that. So I don't think.
Did he either he just went to the bathroom or because it happened he just had to run away just in case? I don't know.
So I don't know if she like. I think she may have hit him in his. No,
he did. She did, and so that's why he like ran out. But I don't know if he ran out of the hotel room or if he just ran to cater to himself for that moment.
Oh, okay.
So that's up in the air also.
Yeah, so that's interesting. I'm sure we'll see that. But yeah, I'm just ready for Petra to be gone.
Yep.
And so they can concentrate. But I think that's it. I think we covered everything.
We can go into predictions and then news and gossip.
Yes, news and gossip.
Predictions, please.
Predictions. I strongly.
Now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
I strongly believe that there's going to be a wedding before Jane and Rolf get married because I'm still Team Rolf, even if he is a little bad. But I don't think he knows
everyone right, and it's not that bad. I mean, it was his sexual activity that made him bad before, right? Yeah, and now that like we just said, a page has turned, and now he's something else, and he's clearly doing everything he can to be with Jane. And for someone who is that sexual to have looked past the virginity and then no sex till marriage, that's saying a lot also. That's doing a lot.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, we'll see. Now Michael has one up though for predictions. So Xiomara's going to make it harder for Jane and Rolf.
I see that coming.
But it's one of those things where if your love is true, like Michael says, then Rolf will fight about it. We're going to see them go back and forth. Really, this is going to be an issue for everyone else because now none of us are going to be able to decide either. We're just going to see both Michael and Rolf be exceptional men.
No, I've already decided.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm Team Rolf. I think when you have that crush, you know what I'm saying, and then that person turns around.
You can, and the chemistry is so there. Even when Rolf and Michael were talking face to face and Jane walks up to them, the way that Rolf grabs her hand and she goes with him, like, that's crazy to do. And especially in front of your ex of 2 years. Yeah. And then to have that control and that, like, that safety net because that's your man and he just, so you're right. Oh, I know, me too. Oh, God, they're so great.
That PDA, gotta love it when they're kissing in the hotel lobby. I'm like, oh, that's so cute.
But it's still going to be difficult. So that's my prediction that Michael's going to have the one up for a little bit now because of Xiomara. And I think that Xiomara will tell Alba about it and then Alba is going to be somewhat there also. But she's wiser and knows, so we'll see.
Yeah. And the fact that she's carrying his baby too and the sacrifice that she made.
Like, oh, well, no. Then Alba, okay, so Xiomara's going to be for Michael. Alba's going to probably stay with Rolf. Yeah, because she's traditional, of course.
Yeah, she's traditional. Like, you're carrying his baby. You had a crush on him when you were 16 or 17, and he's a different person. It's meant to be. Yeah. You got accidentally artificially inseminated with a guy that you have this huge crush on. Yeah. Come on. Yeah. I'm Team Rolf. I don't care what Michael does.
And I'm also Team Gina Rodriguez. Congratulations to her.
Yes, that is so exciting. I think she does such a great job playing this innocent, you know, you just see her levels, her tears.
And good for her, for someone of the CW to have made it to the Golden Globes, because I mean that's a very prestigious like award ceremony. So that's awesome, and good for her, and good for our show.
You know what?
Jane the Virgin.
Jane the Virgin. You know what? I loved her speech. It was so incredible.
Oh, I know.
So incredible. I was like, yes. I felt like I was watching Viola Davis. Like, such a woman of substance and character. Like, not only is she beautiful, not only is she talented, but
Latina, it's nice to see like a minority and of this kind of show, and this cast, and everyone that we've had on this show has been absolutely incredible, and all they do is, you know, support each other and praise about how everyone, like the second you walk on set, like they've said, just know that it's going to be like Justin has said, is the most grateful people that you're going to be around. And look, it just goes to show one of their own made it to the Golden Globes, got her award
and won,
right? Yeah.
Now, could they get nominated for an Oscar? I know.
No. Oscars film.
That's film, so it's not television. Okay, I was thinking, what's before? There's a Golden Globes.
There's Emmys and Tonys. Yeah.
Because I know there's one that kind of predicts who's gonna win.
Right, but the Emmys already happened, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that happened.
Regardless, congratulations, Gina.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I'm excited that I think it just goes to show you when you care about the people that you work with, everybody should be important. That's one of the things that I love about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That's why I was really trying to do that show, because I've met him before, and he's such an incredible person. I was like, it's rare to meet people who are so super successful that treat everybody like they're important.
That have the humbleness and everything.
And they're so humble, and they're such great people. And I wasn't a fan of his until I met him. And then I saw him interacting with people, just everyday people. And I was like, that's the one thing about him. I was like, he makes everybody feel important.
Right.
And I was like, that thing that people say you have that it factor, that's it right there. And Gina seems to have that
also, of course.
You know what I'm saying? That's that star quality.
Because she seems so genuine and great. No, absolutely.
Genuine people that have, you know, a love for other people and making other people feel important. So that's why she probably won.
It is, and well deserved. So again, congratulations.
So congratulations, Miss Gina Rodriguez. Yes, girl, work it out. I'm looking forward to what's happening further down the line. Like, I can't even imagine.
You know, it's gonna be good, and that it got picked up, so we'll be here and we'll be good.
and Giselle will be here,
right? So shout out to Giselle and everyone.
Hi, Giselle.
I hope that her puppy, because her puppy got sick tonight, so she had to cater to him, the little panda. So Giselle, we missed you. We'll see you next week. And just for those of you who didn't know, sorry, we should have mentioned in the beginning, she will be with us also. It was just an emergency for this evening.
I'm sorry, Giselle. So for our handles, if you type in Madison Chase Fitness, that's my website. My Twitter, if you type, I think it's Madison Chase Fit. My YouTube is Madison Chase Fit, or One Mad Chase, one of the two. But if you type in Madison Chase Fitness on,
you'll find her.
Yeah, Pinterest, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. And that's it.
You can find me in two places, Twitter and Instagram. So on Twitter, you can find me at Stephanie Giorgi, Giorgi, and on Instagram at SteffiG47. Thank you all so very much for listening. I hope that you guys comment and rate us on iTunes and share with your friends and talk to us.
Ask us questions. Right? And if we got something wrong, because you guys are good for telling us, oh, you didn't talk about
let us know.
Let us know, and we'll talk about it next time. We'll open up the show and shout you guys out.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you so much.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.